I am part of a classified project within the U.S. military, hunting some of the deadliest creatures roaming North America. I'm one of 110 soldiers handpicked from the best of the best in Special Forces. Some are rookies and some are in their second or third re-enlistment, and some of us are career. Within this company, we have 10 teams, each consisting of 9 riflemen, 1 sniper, and 1 K9. Usually, 2 teams are stationed on one base at a time, spread across the country. As a company, we work on several missions each year. Our primary mission is to seek and eliminate hostiles and recover civilians. Most of our assignments are in the continental United States, but we have worked outside the country on several occasions. Our company was first formed during President Lyndon B. Johnson's term in office. He had a keen interest in finding and proving the existence of the sort of critters we've been charged to hunt. Following the Patterson-Gimlin film, he issued an executive order to establish a task force as part of Project Blue Book before the Air Force shut down that program. We survived and over the years transitioned into the company we are today. We evolved from a team of scientists and researchers into a team of special forces after research proved that things that go bump in the night are real and they pose a serious threat. We still have scientists working with our company, but they are rarely caught in the field. On more than one occasion, someone on my team has mentioned one of your episodes, saying, "We were there," or "I remember that place." One of the stories took place in British Columbia, and I believe it was one of our companies on loan to Canada that took part in the operation. Our guys say these Mounties are spoiled, getting to ride horses when we have to foot it into our destinations more times than not, or drop in by parachute into complete darkness. On several missions, we captured multiple Bigfoots alive, including most of the infants and toddlers and several females, and once an alpha male who stood over 11 feet tall. We had to hit him with 3 rhino tranquilizer darts before he finally keeled over. And even then, he wasn't totally knocked out, just knocked out enough. Unfortunately, taking him alive cost us 2 very good soldiers. The first 2 darts had no effect on him because someone high up in the chain of command wanted him alive. We were not allowed to use deadly force, not even when he started killing our team. He was bound, bagged, and sent to one of 3 locations, like all the others we capture. From memory, our teams have eliminated several dogmen over the past 20 years, but we've taken many more Bigfoot, over 200 to be exact, which are more abundant by comparison. We were once sent to Texas, and as usual, the brass was eager to keep our presence on the lowdown. It was to be a quick in and out operation. We would roll into the area about 0100, surround the target before 0300, have the big guy bagged and tagged by 0500, and be out of the area by sunrise. This creature was a rogue male who had been slaughtering cattle and exotic game animals at a large ranch. Once we landed and got to the location, IT lit him up. We surrounded him while he was resting, and when we were in range, the canines were given the command to bark. He popped up like a jack-in-the-box, and our snipers took him out. Not much of a challenge, but effective, and a whole lot of overkill to call the entire company in for a job, since we could have taken him down with 1 team. You never really know what or why the brass makes the decisions that they do. Once he was down, we saw that he had a broken leg and ribs, probably from being hit by a truck or a train, or maybe from a fight with one of his own. We figured that's why he had taken to hunting livestock, since it would be easy for a creature of his size, even injured. We dragged him out to the clearing where the Huey swept in with a heavy cargo net and scooped him up and flew him off. Our next orders took us to New Mexico. Apparently, an elected official was being harassed by some kind of creature on his land, and the police hadn't been able to help. There was a rumor that it was a gray or white extraterrestrial, which automatically called for the entire company to be present. The property consisted of a secluded home on 20 acres, miles away from any neighbors. We had been reconning the area for the better part of the evening when just about midnight, one of the team spotted it and confirmed that it was in fact a gray. We were immediately placed on the highest level of alert. It wasn't the first time we had encountered one, but we had never successfully taken one out. They are elusive and difficult to kill, and like playing with our heads. We surrounded it and closed the circle to about a 200-yard perimeter, tightening it slowly, our green lights and weapons ready. When the guy to your right and the guy to your left moved, you stood still. 30 seconds later, you moved and they stood still. That way, there was always a stationary set of eyes on alert, watching the surrounding and each other's backs. Now, our canines could not smell the gray, and IT couldn't pick it up on satellite imagery. But one of the canines must have walked right up to it without seeing it, because it burst out, slashing at the dog and the handler, and causing significant harm to both. We stepped in and put enough cartridges into it to push it back, but it had an elastic skeletal structure that kept it from being seriously injured. Since the firearms were not achieving the desired results, the soldiers closest drew their K-bars and went hand to hand, eventually containing it and eliminating it. With enough hands on the creature, we were able to sever its head. There was no blood. Its skin was transparent. It's a dirty light gray without any hair at all. The eyes were large and jet black with no white surrounding the pupils. Its body structure was what stuck with me the most. It was all cartilage. It was like holding on to a rope and putty mixed together. The arms and legs were long and gangly, and the head could be smashed flat and then spring back to its original shape. Once it was over, we scooped it up in an oversized heavy-duty plastic bag and handed it off to the Huey. Out of all the critters we've seen, that's one monster I never want to encounter again. It's just a suspicion of mine, but one founded on some experiences I'd like to forget. That, unlike Bigfoot, which seemed to have evolved naturally, Dogman is part demonic. Its ability, its appearance, and its impossibility to be killed, something's not normal about all that. The last one we dealt with was in 2018 in the UP of Michigan. All the units were called in because the relative of a high-ranking military officer had been found torn apart. His guts were ripped out and consumed by something other than the local predators. We found 2 more bodies on location once we arrived. They appeared to be a father and a son deer hunting and must have shot the creature, which fought back instead of fleeing. The Brass's relative was unfortunately in the wrong place at the wrong time. We could never have found this killer on our own, so the boys in IT were calling the shots. The IT teams guide us using satellites. They communicate to us the direction of travel, intercept points, and even potential ambush locations. These soldiers are remarkable and smarter than most people that I've ever met, and they have protected us from harm more times than I can count. The Dogman must have realized it was in danger because when we started tracking it, it attempted to elude us. We had our soldiers spread thinner than ever before, which was dangerous in the sense that you would be on your own for a few minutes and if you needed backup. Our guardian in the sky kept us alert and safe by tracking it, directing us into a funnel formation, and pushing the beast with the canines. If it attempted to make a break between our lines, we were directed to close ranks and keep it on track. It kept moving down our funnel until it reached the highest concentration of our men, who sprung the trap and unloaded their weapons into it. Now, while they gave it hell, most of us arrived, each of us thinking the same thing. There was a 50-50 chance the brass would fill our ears at the last minute and order us to take it alive. That thing could have taken more than half of us out, even in its seriously injured state. Knowing this, every single one of us unloaded our weapons into it until it was a bloody pile of fur, teeth, and bone. In 2020, we were on the western side of Kentucky. A young boy came up missing in the Land Between the Lakes area, and we put a lid on it quickly. 4 of our teams who happened to be at Fort Campbell arrived just in a couple of hours and put enough pressure on the abductor that it abandoned its prize and it fled. And at the same time, there was a sighting near Mammoth Cave. 2 teams were flown in from Florida to deal with them. Unfortunately, one of the teams started to put pressure on the creatures and they escaped underground. IT was useless to us at that point, and since we're not fond of being tunnel rats and there are way too many things that can go wrong underground, we were forced to call the hunt off. But the night wasn't over. We were sent north instead to Posey County, Indiana, in the swampy areas along the Ohio River. The IT team had lit up 9 beasts. This was beginning to seem like a Bigfoot jamboree. We got orders to push these animals to central locations along the western Kentucky Parkway known as the Peabody Wildlife Area and eliminate them. This operation took us 2 days to pull off, and it didn't come together exactly as we anticipated. We ended up guiding a group from LBL directly to the path of the 9 spotted in Indiana and stood back and watched as they tore into each other like warring gangs. We let them go at it until they were all exhausted, and the smaller group tried to back out. At that point, we engaged them. When the firing started, the other group fled, and to our delight, they ran directly into some claymore traps, taking out all but one and giving the team who flew in from the southeast some target practice. One of the smaller males from the LBL group got away and fled north across the Ohio River. That resulted in another 3 days of us following him until we finally took him out in the Shawnee National Forest. Most of these creatures travel in family groups, and they are harmless, only wanting to be left alone. But we've seen time and time again that young or juvenile males are curious about children or women and will on occasion take them. We have also encountered other males who kill livestock or humans for consumption when they are injured or no longer able to hunt. These creatures will battle to the death to protect their family groups, and when a younger male challenges and defeats an alpha male, he will kill or run off all the younger males of the troop to eliminate threats and start breeding the females sooner. The most dangerous Bigfoots are the groups of rogue males who have banded together. They travel quickly and constantly, causing tremendous harm to humans and livestock. One group was pursuing hunters in Pennsylvania. They had taken one man, snapped him in half, and shoved him into the fork of a tree 20 feet up in the air. Fish and Wildlife told the press that he fell out of his tree stand. And speaking of trees, these creatures spend more time off the ground than people think, especially during the day. Bigfoot also has some ability to influence people without making them feel threatened. Often when we talk to children, they tell us Bigfoot just wanted to show them something or that Bigfoot only wanted to play. Yesterday, we were called to Andrews Air Force Base and told that our company is being deployed to Europe. I hope it will turn out to be a waste of time and that we will be sent back home soon. We have been given leave for the weekend to get our affairs in order, and while other soldiers are drinking and spending time with loved ones, I'm sitting in a public library typing this letter. I'm not sure what will happen in Europe, but I have taken an oath to the Constitution to protect this country from threats, both foreign and domestic. I believe what this company has been doing for the past 50-some years is exactly that. I'd like to write more, but the library is closing and they're running me out. If I return in one piece, maybe I'll share what we encountered in Europe. I've heard some rumors and know it will be interesting.